Okay, and we are in for our Moto2 race of the night. Hopefully you guys like that video. That thing is sweet. I'm still a fan.
Absolutely, thank you. Yeah, put in some good work on the intro videos, and red lights are on. We are live.
And they are
Good.
off. They are off.
Look at the blue bikes together here.
Ooh, that is like 5 wide through turn 1. A lot of bumping, but that looked more latency driven than poor racecraft. Oh, and Phobia.
There's a crash.
Jix
Phobia.
Buff.
Taking Jix Buff out.
Veritech.
That might be a red flag.
Yeah, that is a red flag.
I think that's a red flag.
That is a red flag.
Now this is, red flag it. And the good thing is you can restart it right away. And
you mean unlike last year's game that crashed the game?
Yep. Now just start.
Yep. All right, boys, y'all get one.
Okay. Phobia, we're watching you, dude. We're watching you, man. All right. And we are live. Moto2 race. Let's go. Portimao round 1.
For the second time in a row. Dude, the game needs to stop hanging on that red light. It keeps making me think we're crashing.
It's a delay. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of lag. All right.
It's a very similar start to last time.
Yeah, but you can tell the bikes are a little bit more spread out. Still, people running up wide on that curb in turn 2.
All right, let's clean through turn 1.
Clean through 1 and 2. And we're going full race distance. Let's go, boys. 8 laps. And we've got D Veritech. I mean, a surprising start. He had 3rd place in the qualifying, but I am not used to seeing D Veritech's name at the top of the list for the Moto2 group. This is going to be an exciting year. Now, unfortunately, we did have one rider drop out, Nightcrawl, who did take the top spot in qualifying. Unfortunately, had some prior engagements outside of the game, so...
I mean, I'm just saying you need to figure out your work schedule. Clearly, this is more important than making a living, so...
You would think. I mean, someone who is their own boss could maybe change the schedule slightly here or there, but you know what? I get it. You got to pay the bills.
Yep.
So, understandable. And honestly, he would be the top guy in this one right now, I have to believe, but it's not him. He's not here. D Veritech, 1.5 seconds on the first lap, and it's going to grow faster after the big crash out of turn 12.
Yeah, not great. Not great.
It looks like he didn't take any riders with him, thankfully, but it did slow some people down.
Oh, man, it looks like we lost 2 planned.
We certainly did.
Yeah. Sorry, man. It's... Yell at Milestone, if you would like to.
Oh, man. Sorry about that, too.
I promise the restarts were as annoying for me as they were for you.
Yeah, doubly so, man. We was wearing our patience a bit thin, but it's not happy to see you get this curb there. That sucks. We'll get you in the next one for sure. All right, so we got 4 bikes close racing though, from 2nd place down to 5th. Phobia from Jix Buff, Buster, and Jix Rage.
Oh, a little bit of contact there.
Yep, Buster, Jix Buff, bit of contact. Now these guys they do race quite a bit, especially these 4 riders. They race quite a bit on Wednesday nights together, a lot of Moto2 practice. So I am expecting to see, maybe some nerves because it's the first race of the season, but if any of these riders should have close racing with minimal contact, I would think it'd be these 4. Great pass down the hill on the outside from Jix Buff.
Looks like Stock Hazard's working up a pass here. Sorry to cut away from that, but just kidding. He faked me out, man. He was closing that distance real quick.
I saw him cut across quite a bit of green there. It's a very interesting line. I mean, we had a pre-race favorite that was going to be between Nightcrawler and One-Handed. A lot of people were saying One-Handed was the favorite for this one coming into it. From a lot of the practice races, he was blowing everybody out of the water. But right now, we're 2 laps in, and he's got some work to do. We believe in you, Al. Just start to click in those quick laps. You got plenty of time. Veritek has grown the lead at the front, though, just over 3 seconds, not a phobia.
He's pulling a Hades. Oh, but Jixray just not going to let it be easy for him.
Yeah, let's go into Jix Buff, possibly with a reverse cam. He's got quite a few riders, 4, I think, riders real close to him behind him.
Not super close, but not too far back there.
Yeah, and that's Jix Rage just behind him. You can start to see it, though, these Moto2 bikes. There's a bit of a gap. I mean, it's kind of single file here at this point on the third lap.
Or this is just in time there.
Trouble. Yeah, he ended up making contact there with Jix Buff's bike, but he was able to get through it, thankfully. I guess it's one of the benefits of the new crash restart system working so much quicker than last year's. The bikes aren't just sitting on the track forever.
Yeah, that was a little frustrating. I mean, a little more realistic, I suppose, but certainly frustrating.
Well, I will say 50-50 on the realism part.
Sure.
I'll say this. The bike staying out there was the real part. The unreal part was the trajectory that the physics took the bike on. It was completely
I will certainly agree with that. Yeah, no, I will certainly agree with that. I like how that's become a verb.
Yeah, milestone. No matter what the actual physics would have been behind carrying the bike one way or the other, it always seemed to follow the racing line on the track. Regardless of speed.
Oh, Buffster. That's
a bit wide into turn 1.
That's a line.
You got to get early on the brakes for turn 1 on these bikes.
Look at Veritek up here. I think he's getting lonely.
It has come down a little bit. Phobia's crawled it back in a little bit because it was over 3 seconds. Now just under 2, so...
That's quite a gap.
Still quite a gap. Only halfway through the race. Still a lot of time.
Although from Phobia's perspective, it doesn't look near as far away.
Yeah, 1.5. That doesn't look like 1.5. But you know what it is, too, about... It does, but here's the thing with these bikes. They're gutless in this game. I don't know what it is that they did, but these bikes were so lively in the last game. They could just wheelie, they could spin the rear tire, they could do anything you want. And this game...
They should be able to. I mean, it's not like they're chump bikes.
No. They spit out 140 horsepower, and there's minimal electronics on this thing. No anti-wheelie. I mean, it's a shame.
Ooh, Bear wants that.
Yeah, Bear's coming back. He was down in last place. He's made some moves, though. He's moved up to 7th, and he's looking to find himself a 6th place move here if he can get ahead of Buffster.
I mean, for those of you that don't know Bear, he is, he is literally racing with one hand. It's pretty wild to see what he can do. And man, what's he gonna do on the brakes?
Yeah, he's using one of the accessibility gamepad setups, so a lot of the controls are obviously with one hand, and then a lot of the other controls, I believe he's using multiple toes. I think one on each foot. He's got some controls on each foot, which is incredible. I mean, from all I've done hundreds of races with him, and he's barring any contact from other riders, he's generally one of the most consistent and smooth players in the game.
Well, and it just takes over from his personality as well. I mean, the guy is just level-headed.
Cool hand Luke.
Did you catch that finger glitch with his rider?
I did.
He was just tickling the clutch lever.
Oh,
that was a good little wheelie.
Nice little wheelie coming down the hill there.
He's pushing. I mean, he's pushing hard.
He's moved up ahead of Fast Rods. You know what it was too? Is Buffster, it has a long lap penalty to complete. So I think these riders, they can see that. That's one of the big changes to 23 is that you can now see if other riders have.
Oh no, Bear!
No. Not
good.
They can see the other track limit warnings, long lap penalty situations with other riders, and it could play into their strategy.
Man, good pass by Jix Rage.
Yeah, beautiful pass on Buster there. Buster's getting picked apart here by these guys. D Veritek is still in full chill mode. I mean, he is, I tell you what, he's counting his blessings right now that we recreated this lobby for him at last minute to try to get him back in.
Oh, he almost didn't. He almost didn't get that.
Yeah, I mean, technical difficulties have really, really hampered this event tonight on our end, but, you know, the racing has been fantastic. What is this camera angle? We're underneath.
Awful. It's called Look Back, and I was like, okay, let's see what that is.
So if you go from, if you do like the third person look forward, this forward M2 bike, it's a different chassis than a lot of the other Moto2 bikes.
Okay.
And if you notice, it has sort of like that R1-esque rear opening out of like the
a little
tail.
bit, a little bit.
Yeah, it's not the same shape, but the same idea. Where there's a giant hole. For some reason, there's a giant hole in the tail.
I'll tell you, as an R1 owner, I don't see how it works considering my ass is against it half the time. Like, it can't flow any air because, again, I mean, it's a sport bike. You're all the way back on it.
Is it sort of like cooled seat? Oh my goodness, big wobble on the front end. Let's see if Phobia gained over half a second. A little mistake from Veritek there.
Let's go back to Phobia then.
Yeah, Phobia's reeling him in here. There's a big mistake on the front end for Veritek, and half second came off the clock there for Phobia to close the distance on him.
So here's what I know about that R1. If you ride in the rain, it injects rain straight up your ass. Is really all it does through those holes. Oh, stock hazard with a crash.
Yeah, Roger just made a move on him, and I think it put him out of shape a little bit. I couldn't see where it was on track, but I think it was at turn 12, 13 coming on the straight. It might have put him just off his line a little bit. It's exciting seeing these guys come down into turn 1. The rear wheel always comes off the ground on that initial brake.
Hey, Coco, I want you to know you're the reason that stock hazard is now P7. I don't know if you caught that comment, but he said nobody talking about hazard P4. Well, awkward.
All of this for D Veritek? What the hell?
Yeah, you did. You really did. Do you have access to the chat?
I could, but it's a little difficult. It slows my Discord down.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get you that. Maybe in an alternative format.
So I also have the stream open on my web browser, but I'm running it at 480 so that I can keep the Discord running well.
Do you have McDonald's Wi-Fi? Is that what's going on here?
I've got Burger King Wi-Fi, sir.
That's worse. That's objectively worse.
It's a Burger King that went out of business 6 months ago. That's what my Wi-Fi is.
Jesus.
Well, I will say, as we come onto the penultimate lap here, that there's quite a gap between all the riders. There's not a lot of action you can show at the moment.
Spread out.
A little spread out here, which is interesting. Qualifying results, there was definitely a bit of a gap at the front, but the rest of the guys there was a pretty close pack.
It's been pretty crashy,
There's been some contact here and there.
All right, who are we going with? I'll let you choose.
Who am I going with? The winner here between Veritek Phobia?
No, to take a look at. Veritek's got this in the bag.
Oh, who we're gonna look at? I like this is the biggest thing you can look at the moment. Is this final lap? Please, let's see if the pressure gets to Veritek or if he can pull in the first win of the season for the Moto2 class.
I mean, Phobia's closing it down a little bit, but not that much, right?
Yeah, barring any big mistake from Veritek, he's not close enough to put a move on him anywhere at the moment. And we're halfway through the lap. The biggest chance will come up coming up the hill.
There's a mistake coming. That was sloppy.
Very wide, and he wheelies out of the turn as well. He lost almost a full second. Phobia's on the inside. Big wheelie by Veritek coming down the hill. But he fights back. He fights back coming up to turn 10. Can they both turn in and get on the brakes? Veritek's holding the line. He's very wide coming down the hill, though. I've lost sight of Phobia. They're so close.
Oh, no, because we changed riders. No. That's my bad. Oh my
God, that's
god!
huge contact. Phobia says, if I'm not finishing first, you ain't either.
Phobia,
He needs to give the spot back.
yeah, you got to
Good
give
job,
that spot
Phobia.
up.
Yeah, now go back and fight again. Without the contact, please.
The contact
Yeah,
was epic. We just happened to switch to the same bike. I don't know how we managed that.
That was awesome. Honestly, that's the bike that I use in Moto2. I like the forward bike, like the livery. Not so much the team, but you know what?
Whoa!
Kudos here to Vertec.
What just happened?
He either ran out of fuel or gave up.
He might have ran out of fuel.
I'm not totally certain what happened at the end there. Oh man. I don't know what to say, but
He must.
as all the riders come across, Buffster still had a long lap penalty to do.
Buffster, what are you? You're an Idemitsu rider. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'll tell you what he's not doing is getting his little Idemitsu theme.
Yeah, you're hurting my feelings, Buffster, man. Buster and Raj, you guys, I need that theme next week. Need big results next week. I'm interested to see what happens here as you progress the standings.
We're already there.
We're already there. I mean, this is... I need to hear from Phobia and Veritech what their thoughts are on the finish from that one.
I suspect Veritech ran out of fuel. There's no way he slowed down that much for no reason. I mean, he jumped on the brakes, essentially. So, I am going to officially, unofficially, give Phobia our first round one Moto2 winner. Congratulations, Phobia. That was well fought, especially at the end. Veritech, man. You got pushed. You got pushed, but you had a sweet race. Good job. Jixbuff coming in third, rounding out that podium. Jix Rage, look at you, man. #1 time. That is nothing to squawk about. Fast Raj coming in 5th, Whisper 6th, Stock Hazard 7th, One-Handed 8th, and Buffster rounding out the pack in 9th. That was a good race, y'all.
Very exciting. We got some cleaning up to do for next week, but overall, it was still an exciting race to watch. I'm excited to see what happens in the main event here for GP.